But regardless of that little speech, it is not a example of irreducible complexity whatsoever. In fact, if you're on YouTube, just hop in and type irreducible complexity. You're going to pull up lots of stuff, lots of videos where people are explaining it. Go online and Google it. I mean, Jesus, that's why we made Google. Next up, he talks about the eye more, about how it's in horses, ants, dogs, whales, lions, flies, ducks, fish, etc., etc. And here's something that I've always thought that's really odd. Wrap your mind around this for a second. Okay, I've got eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. Look at, what is this? The horse. The horse has eyes, goes down to a muzzle, has nose, a mouth, and ears. Dogs. Yeah, eyes, nose, ears. Doesn't that point to something that would say that that we came from something that, you know, basically grew out of eyes, nose, mouth, ears? I mean, if God created all of these animals, and what you're proposing in this is that he just made it all up. You know, wasn't he more creative than that? And I'm throwing out a lot of stuff like insects and other items that don't have the same pattern, but look at the large number of pattern of things that do, or insects that are just very, very, very similar. You know, that actually points to either a God that was not very creative and couldn't come up with a better design, or the fact that they all basically came from some kind of a common ancestor. Next up, more about the eye. You will rarely find an atheist who doesn't embrace Darwinism with both arms. Darwinism is not the current idea of what we have with evolution. Darwinism and evolution do not equal atheism. I know and have met, and I'm sure there's lots of, that I will meet in the future, of people who are theists, who believe in God, that also accept evolution. You know, you got to understand the difference between Darwinism and evolution. Darwinism was just the kicker, was just the start off, just the general idea. What we have right now with evolution has taken that idea and molded it. If Charles Darwin woke up today and he was in a coma for the past, I don't know, in hypothetical situation, 150 years, and he would look at it today and say, holy cow, that got complicated. So, yeah, because now we have genetics and we understand DNA, which you did not at the time. All that goes to support the general aspects of what you have in the book. But Darwinism today is more of something that's learned about in history, but it's not something that's actually practiced. Today, we practice evolution. Here's a great one. Here's where he does more comparison with more items. What if someone wants to give you the Mona Lisa? All right, that's nice. Keys to a brand new Lamborghini? I'd rather have a Ferrari, though. $1 million in cash or a parachute. And then he starts a very long rant, which goes on for pages and pages, actually pretty much through the end of, but what if you were in an airplane and the door was open and you're 10,000 feet up? Which one would you choose then? He uses this analogy to go through Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity to try to teach you which one you should actually follow. This happens on page 41 and it starts on 40, which means for the last 10 pages, it has nothing to do with Darwin. It has nothing to do with the origin of species. He's preaching. So really, it's a 39-page introduction to the origin of species, not counting the first 4 pages of just pictures and publication information. He's basically, he's not writing about the origin of species. He's trying to convert people. And that gets pretty obvious whenever he talks about little Jessica. Now, in this is just annoying. The whole thing is actually annoying, but this is where it actually gets kind of a little bit disgusting. He talks about little Jessica. Where he talks about a girl who was found and she was beaten and raped and buried, which is a little sick. He talks about little Jessica, and he talks about that God is outraged by things like that. That God is outraged by, you know, when someone actually does something like that, like beats and rapes and buries a little girl. And right here, I don't know if you can read that. What I wrote up here was, well, he didn't stop it. If you can read my handwriting. It says here, he's also outraged by torture, terrorism, abortion, theft, lying, adultery, fornication, pedophilia, homosexuality. He's also outraged by the things that we hide in our heart, like lust, hatred, rebellion, greed, unclean imaginations, ingratitude, selfishness, jealousy, pride, envy, deceit, etc., etc., etc. And he's outraged by this stuff so much that he just lets it keep on going. If I was outraged and I had the power to stop any of this, you damn well better believe, if not in all these cases where everyone would know that I existed because maybe that's the game that he seems to be playing, I would have stopped the guy from beating and raping and burying little baby Jessica. This 50 pages worth. I'm putting the link in the sidebar, and like I said, I know I went through that very quickly. I wanted to get all this down in one video and just hit you up with the basic idea of what's inside it. The last 10 pages are nothing about him, nothing except for him preaching. The first 5 or 6 pages are talking about the life and history of Darwin. Those last 10 pages I skimmed through, but I'm not going to start breaking it down because it's too freaking easy. I just wanted to give you an idea of what's actually inside of it. Like I said, link in the sidebar, grab it up, punch it up, and read it for yourself, print it out, give it out to people, whatever. Mark it up just like I did, basically, with highlighters and pens. I just wanted you to at least know kind of what's inside of it. In addition, as a cool little thing, I'm also going to put a link in the sidebar. It's a YouTube user, so I'm doing a little shout out here. Catherine9. Really cool. I think I've blogtv with her about 3 or 4 times so far. She lives up in New York. She's got some pretty creative ideas, and she tends to ask really intelligent, smart questions, which is really cool for a girl that's in high school. But she's got her own YouTube channel. She's got her own blog TV, so I'm going to put both of those links down here so that you can check her out sometime if you like. Maybe she'll get a couple subs and get to meet a couple cool people on her blog TV shows. Okay, before I go, I've got one more really cool thing to show you. Only one other person has seen this yet. I got a new tattoo today. I had it put on. I was getting my car worked on. I had some extra time. Went across the street, literally right across the street to a tattoo parlor and got a new tattoo. Now, I think almost all of you know what secular humanism is, and most of you then would know what the happy humanist is. I had an old tattoo, and what I did was I wanted to cover it up, but all I did was cover it up with this one. It's the happy humanist. It's the symbol for secular humanism, which is basically atheists who will also believe in the goodness and kindness and that man has potential, and we believe in science and logic. And it's not really so much as something that we believe against, like religion, but it's something that we believe in, which is logic and reason and the morality that we make up. So that's the happy humanist. You can Google it and see it on a whole lot of secular humanism sites. It's basically just a general symbol. I also had an old tattoo I wanted to cover up anyway, and it just fit right in, and before you know it, I was sitting in a tattooist chair. So, only one other person, my good buddy Zach, has seen this, except the tattoo guy. So before other friends, family, anyone I work with, before all of those guys, you guys get to see it first. All right, I'm Greg with Occam's Razors.